Welcome back, everybody, to The Deep Dive. And today we're going to do kind of a whirlwind tour of what's happening in Thailand right now.
Sounds good.
All based on a recent episode of the Thailand AKTUELL podcast.
Kind of a deep dive into Thailand.
Yeah.
With hosts Nirachaya and Samu as our guides.
All right, so this episode is pretty jam-packed.
Yeah.
Get ready for some scandals, some controversies,
Right.
and even like a looming tropical storm.
Right.
So,
A little bit of everything.
first up, this is a headline I think that will definitely grab your attention. Thailand is planning to implement a tourist tax in 2025.
Yeah, this is big news, and it's causing quite a stir.
Yeah.
The fee structure is 300 baht, which is about $9 for people flying in.
Right.
And then 150 baht for land or sea arrivals.
Okay.
But there are discussions underway to simplify things with a unified fee.
So imagine you're landing in Bangkok, right?
Yeah.
You just got off a long flight, you ready to go.
Yeah.
Boom, new tax.
Right.
But what about people who live near the border and they're crossing back and forth all the time?
Right. So they've thought of that.
Okay.
Regular border crossers will be exempt,
Okay.
and they can use a temporary border pass instead.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how are they going to collect this tax?
So they're developing a special app for tax collection,
Oh, really?
and there will be an insurance company providing coverage for tourists, too, as part of this deal.
Okay, wait, hold on. Insurance.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So they're offering up to 1 million baht, which is about $30,000 for death, and then up to 500,000 baht for other incidents.
Okay.
Kind of a safety net for visitors.
So it's a pretty good deal, right? 30,000 bucks if you pass away, what's the catch?
The catch is that it's only for stays up to 30 days.
Right.
And of course, you've got the tourism industry, and they have some concerns.
But
They worry that this new tax will scare away visitors.
yeah, I could see that.
But the government's pretty confident.
Yeah.
They're emphasizing that the revenue will be managed transparently, and that they're going to use it to fund the insurance and improve tourist attractions.
So really trying to invest back into the tourism infrastructure.
Exactly.
Okay, so will the potential benefits outweigh the concerns?
Yeah. What do you think?
That's a good question.
Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely some food for thought.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears to an issue that I think kind of hits a little closer to home, like literally food safety.
Okay.
Apparently there has been a disturbing discovery about those delicious Shine Muscat grapes that are sold in Thailand.
Oh.
So Taipan, that's the Thai Pesticide Alert Network.
Yo.
They found that there are dangerous pesticide residues in these grapes, and they're exceeding the limits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
It is scary, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of pesticides are we talking about here?
Chlorpyrifos, which is an insecticide that's been banned in Thailand because it's so harmful.
Oh, wow.
And they actually found over 50 different pesticide residues in these grapes.
Wow.
Many of them undeclared.
So it's like a chemical cocktail in there
It is.
that I don't want to be drinking.
Right.
Okay, so what is the government doing about this?
Well, the Food and Drug Administration did their own investigation,
Bro?
but their findings were different.
Oh,
They reported far fewer contaminated samples.
really?
Yeah. So, makes you wonder
Yeah.
about testing procedures.
So are they going to do anything?
Well, they are planning stricter import controls
Okay.
and faster test results. They want to get results within 24 hours instead of 3 days.
So that's good. They're taking action. But what about protecting consumers?
Right. So Taipan and the Thai Consumer Council are demanding mandatory origin labeling
Okay.
on all imported Shine Muscat grapes, so you know where your food's coming from.
I think that's a really good idea,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking about something as important as food safety.
Right. You want to know what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm?
Okay, now let's move on to a scandal that is shaking up the Thai entertainment industry.
All right. This is juice.
Yeah, so get ready for some drama.
Think illegal pyramid schemes, celebrities, and millions of baht.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
All right, so the company involved is Icon Group, and they're suspected of running an illegal pyramid scheme.
Yeah?
But what makes this case even more captivating is the celebrity involvement.
Okay, so spill the tea. Who we're talking about?
So we're talking about big names like Khan Boss, Khan Kantathalan.
Okay.
He's a popular TV host.
Okay.
He reportedly received almost 80 million baht in transfers from Icon Group.
80 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of baht.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's not alone.
Oh, really? Who else?
Actress Pachaya Bosman Watana Mantri,
All right.
she received 11.39 million baht.
Oh, wow.
And actor Uranan Bossem Pamorn Mantri received 3.19 million baht.
So all these millions of baht just flying around.
Yeah, and it's alleged that these payments were masked as revenue shares.
Interesting. Okay, so what happened to Akon Group? Did they just skip town?
Well, on October 16th, 18 suspects from Akon's leadership were arrested. And they're facing charges of public fraud and cybercrime.
Wow.
Now, they're claiming their business model was legal.
Okay.
But the Department of Special Investigation is looking into it.
Right.
Possibly money laundering as well.
So they could be in more trouble than they even realize.
Potentially.
Okay, and how many victims are we talking about here?
Well, over 8,000 people have filed complaints, and they're reporting losses that total 2.41 billion baht.
2.41 billion baht. That is mind-blowing.
It is.
It's just a reminder that things are not always as they seem, especially when it comes to these get-rich-quick schemes.
You're right, and this case also kind of makes you think about the influence of celebrity endorsements. How much do they affect our purchasing decisions?
Right.
And what are the risks involved?
Yeah, it's a good reminder to be critical and do your research before you just jump on the bandwagon just because your favorite celebrity is endorsing something.
Absolutely.
Now, are you ready for a story that is straight out of a soap opera?
Oh, yeah, hit me.
Okay, this one involves theft, an alleged affair, and a very prominent figure in Thai society.
Oh, this is a good one.
Buckle up.
All right.
So the story revolves around Siranada Kupkip Akpan,
Okay.
and she is the wife of former police chief Surachat Big Chok Hokpan.
Big Chalk.
Big D Shock. I know you can't make these nicknames up.
That's amazing.
I know, it's great.
Okay.
So what is the scandal?
So Serenata was accused by Tanatha, who is the wife of a police officer,
Okay.
of breaking into her apartment
Okay.
and stealing valuables worth 5.7 million baht.
Wow.
Yeah, and it gets juicier.
Okay, go on.
Tanatha also claims that Serenata was having an affair with her husband.
Hold on, a break-in and an affair. This is getting good.
Yeah.
What's Serenada's side of the story?
Well, she was arrested,
Okay.
but she was released on bail after 4 hours of interrogation.
Okay.
And she denies the accusations vehemently.
Okay.
And her lawyer's going on the offensive, threatening legal action against anyone that damages her reputation.
So it's a he said, she said
It is.
situation. Where does the investigation stand?
So the police are committed to an impartial investigation.
Okay.
And that includes DNA testing of cash that was allegedly found in Serenata's possession.
Okay.
So Tanatha says that she discovered 5 bags of cash
5 bags of cash.
in Serenata's apartment.
Oh my gosh. This just keeps getting better and better.
It does.
It just makes you wonder about like the lives of the rich and famous, right?
Yeah.
Like, all this wealth and power, but yet they're caught up in all this drama.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even those who seem to have it all can still face scandals and personal turmoil.
It's a very human story.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's shift gears to a topic that is a bit more serious.
Okay.
And this is the approaching 20th anniversary of the Tokbai massacre and the rising tension in southern Thailand.
This is a dark chapter in Thailand's history,
Yeah.
and one that continues to cast a long shadow.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe it's been 20 years. So what's the situation like in the South now as this anniversary is approaching?
So security officials are on high alert.
Oh, wow.
They're warning of potential unrest,
Okay.
especially in the provinces of Yalapatani and Narathiwat.
Okay.
And they're concerned that some groups might use the anniversary
Right.
to incite violence.
Right.
So it's a very fragile piece.
So what steps are being taken to prevent something like that from happening?
So the Interior Minister has activated emergency plans for those southern provinces,
Okay.
and they're urging peaceful cooperation.
Okay.
And there are calls for all suspects involved in the Tokbai massacre to be brought to justice
Right.
before the statute of limitations runs out.
Right. That's really important.
It is.
It's accountability, even after so many decades have passed.
Yeah, and this historical event is sadly still relevant today.
Yeah.
Just recently, there were 2 bomb attacks in the South.
Oh, wow.
So 2 defense volunteers were injured in a car bomb attack
Oh, God.
in Patani,
Okay.
and 3 soldiers were wounded in an explosion in Narathiwat.
Wow. That's really sad.
It is.
And it makes you wonder, how can societies truly reconcile with past injustices
Right.
while working towards lasting peace?
It's a question that deserves some deep reflection.
Yeah, especially as we approach this very somber anniversary.
Right.
Okay, so let's turn our attention now to some pretty pressing environmental concerns that are impacting Thailand right now.
Okay, so we've got air pollution, and we've got a tropical storm brewing in the distance.
Wow.
2 very different threats,
Yeah.
but both with the potential to disrupt daily life.
Okay, so let's start with the air pollution. How bad is it?
Well, recent measurements paint a pretty grim picture.
Okay.
Bangkok is currently ranked 13th on the list of the world's most polluted cities,
Oh, wow.
and it has an air quality index of 101.
Okay.
And Chiang Mai is not doing much better. It's ranking 43rd with an AQI of 66.
So both are considered unhealthy.
Yeah, unhealthy for sure.
I can imagine that it's making it really difficult for people to breathe, especially those with respiratory issues.
Absolutely, and even the governor of Bangkok has acknowledged that the air quality is worsening.
Really?
Yeah, he pointed to the levels of fine particulate matter
Okay.
being dangerously high in some districts.
So what's being done to address this?
So they're focusing on controlling vehicle emissions
Okay.
and dust from construction sites,
Okay.
which is a start,
Yeah.
but they have a long way to go.
Okay, so now let's talk about this tropical storm. Is it heading straight for Thailand?
So Tropical Storm Trami is actually on track to hit Vietnam,
Okay.
but residents in Bangkok and other provinces should still brace themselves for heavy rainfall.
Okay.
So we could see potential flooding
Yeah.
and all that comes with it.
Exactly. So are they issuing warnings?
Yeah, so the Thai Meteorological Department has issued warnings
Okay.
for potential flash floods and landslides,
Okay.
especially in mountainous areas and low-lying regions.
Right.
They're even suspending some boat services and advising small vessels to stay in port.
So it sounds like they're taking this seriously.
Yeah, they are.
Which everyone should, even if it's not making a direct hit.
Absolutely. Staying informed and prepared is key.
Yes, so check the Thai Meteorological Department's website.
Yeah.
Call the hotline, stay up to date.
Yeah, good advice. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're picking up right where we left off, exploring the fascinating world of Thailand's current events with our guides Nirachaya and Samo from Thailand AKTUELL.
It's like we have a front row seat to all the action, from policy debates to scandals.
Exactly. And in this segment, we're going to dig a little deeper, adding some more context and analysis to the stories we've already touched on.
Sounds good to me. Let's start with that tourist tax. We talked about the fee, the potential benefits. But how does this tax fit into Thailand's overall tourism strategy? I mean, they've always been a really popular tourist destination.
Yeah,
But the pandemic must have, shaken things up a bit.
it definitely did. International arrivals plummeted, the industry took a major hit, and as Thailand tries to rebuild its tourism sector, this new tax could be a game changer.
Okay, so is it just about, bringing in more money?
It's more than that. The revenue could be used to invest in infrastructure improvements, create better experiences for tourists, and promote eco-friendly tourism practices.
So it's about, attracting a different kind of traveler.
Exactly.
Hey.
Think quality over quantity. It actually aligns with a global trend that's happening right now, moving away from mass tourism towards a more sustainable and meaningful travel experience.
Interesting. It's like they're using this tax to reshape the future of tourism in Thailand.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
a strategic move, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, okay, let's go back to those Shine Muscat grapes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the pesticide residues that were found in them are pretty unsettling.
I
It kind of
can
makes you
agree.
wonder about, the bigger picture of food safety in Thailand.
Yeah, it raises concerns. This isn't just about grapes. It highlights a global issue. The lack of transparency in our food supply chains. How much do we really know about the pesticides that are used on the food we import?
Yeah, it's a hidden danger in our grocery baskets.
Exactly. And this case really shows how important it is to have these independent organizations like Taipan who can investigate and hold those in power accountable.
So what can we do as consumers to, make a difference besides, obviously, avoiding those Shine Muscat grapes?
Well, we can support organizations like Taipan who are fighting for safer food. We can choose to buy local whenever possible. It reduces the distance our food travels and often means fewer pesticides.
Those are great tips. All right, so onto that celebrity fraud case.
Oh, yeah.
Akon Group pyramid schemes, millions of baht. It's a captivating story.
It is.
Do you think this scandal will have, a lasting impact on the celebrities involved?
It's hard to say. Public opinion can be fickle,
Yeah.
but this case has definitely tarnished their reputations, especially with the huge sums of money involved. It's a reminder that fame and fortune don't always equate to integrity.
It's a good lesson for everybody, really. Don't blindly trust anyone, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to your finances.
Absolutely. And this case is a classic example of how pyramid schemes prey on people's desires for wealth and success. They promise the moon, but often leave a trail of financial devastation.
A cautionary tale, for sure. Now remember, Siranata Kupkip Akpan, the wife of former police chief Big Chok,
Yeah.
the alleged theft, the affair, the 5 bags of cash.
I know, it's like a movie.
It really is. It's a story that has definitely captured the public's imagination.
Yeah,
And it's fascinating to see how it kind of intersects with themes of wealth, power, and social status in Thailand.
absolutely.
How so? Because her husband was like a high-ranking police officer?
Exactly. His name carries weight. And there are questions about whether his influence might have played a role in this whole situation.
Yeah, it adds like another layer of intrigue to an already really captivating story. It's a reminder that even those in positions of power can be caught up in these scandals.
Absolutely. And it also highlights how stories like this often tap into our fascination with the lives of the rich and famous. We get a glimpse into their world with all the drama and intrigue.
Yeah, it's human nature. We're drawn to stories of wealth, power, and, of course, a little bit of scandal.
It's a universal theme. Now let's shift gears and talk about the Tokbai massacre.
Yeah.
As we approach the 20th anniversary, it's clear that this event continues to be a source of pain and division in Thailand.
It's a dark chapter that I think many would rather just forget. But as we've seen with those recent bomb attacks in the South, the wounds of the past haven't healed.
Yeah, it's a tragedy that has left lasting scars both on the victims and their families and on the nation as a whole. And that lack of accountability for those responsible has only fueled the anger and resentment.
Is there any hope for reconciliation and healing in the region?
It's a long and difficult road. The first step is acknowledging the injustices of the past. Open and honest dialogue, a commitment to truth and justice, and meaningful reforms to address the underlying issues are essential.
It's about building bridges, not walls.
Exactly, and it requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to listen to the voices of those who have been marginalized and silenced.
Well said. All right, let's turn our attention to those pressing environmental challenges that are facing Thailand right now. Air pollution and the looming threat of Tropical Storm Trami. Two very different problems, but both with the potential to disrupt lives.
Absolutely. They really underscore the interconnectedness of environmental health and human well-being. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences both locally and globally.
Okay, let's start with the air pollution. We've heard that Bangkok and Chiang Mai are ranked among the world's most polluted cities. What's driving this crisis?
Rapid urbanization and industrialization play a major role, and then add to that a growing number of vehicles on the road, and you have recipe for air pollution.
So it's a combination of factors that are putting a strain on the environment.
Exactly. And it's a problem that a lot of countries are grappling with. Finding a balance between economic development and environmental sustainability is a challenge.
What can be done to clean up the air?
Well, it requires a multi-pronged approach, investing in clean energy, promoting sustainable transportation, reducing industrial emissions, and protecting green spaces.
It's a tall order, but it sounds like it's essential for the health and well-being of the Thai people.
Absolutely. And it's not just about air pollution doesn't respect borders. It's a global issue that demands our attention.
Okay, now let's talk about Tropical Storm Trami. Even though it's not making landfall in Thailand, it sounds like it's still going to pack a punch.
That's right. The heavy rainfall that's expected could lead to flash floods and landslides, especially in areas that are vulnerable. It's a reminder that we need to be prepared for extreme weather events, which are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change.
So not just a local concern, but a global one.
Exactly. Climate change is a threat multiplier, exacerbating existing problems and creating new ones. It's a wake-up call for all of us to take action.
Well said. And on that thought-provoking note, we'll bring this segment of the Deep Dive to a close. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of Thailand's current events, and it's been quite a journey.
It really has, from those grapes to the scandals to the storm.
Exactly. But before we go, there's one more story I think we really need to kind of unpack a little bit more.
Okay.
We've talked about the Tokbai massacre a few times, mentioning the upcoming anniversary of the tension in southern Thailand. But for those who might not be familiar with this event, could you give us a little more context?
Absolutely. The Tokbai massacre happened on October 25th, 2004, and it was really a tragic turning point in the relationship between the Thai government and the Muslim majority population in the south.
Yeah, it's a really dark chapter in Thailand's history. What exactly happened that day?
Well, it started with protests. The Malay Muslim population in the south had long felt marginalized and discriminated against by the central government. There was a deep sense of historical injustice and mistrust.
So these protests were about more than just a single incident.
Exactly. They were rooted in decades, even centuries of simmering tension. And on that day in Tokbai, the situation just boiled over. Security forces clashed with demonstrators, and what followed was a brutal crackdown.
We've heard over 80 people died. It's hard to even fathom the scale of the tragedy.
It was horrific. The images of protesters, some already dead, being piled into trucks shocked the nation and the world. And the aftermath was filled with anger, grief, and a desperate plea for justice.
But has justice been served? Have those responsible been held accountable?
Sadly, no. Despite investigations and inquiries, no one has been held accountable for the deaths and injuries that occurred that day. And that lack of accountability has only fueled the anger and distrust towards the government.
Yeah, it's completely understandable that the wounds of the past haven't healed. And as we approach this 20th anniversary, those wounds are being reopened. There are calls for justice, for truth, for reconciliation. What do you think needs to happen for true healing to begin?
It's a complex question with no easy answers. But acknowledging the wrongs of the past is crucial. Open and honest dialogue, a commitment to truth and justice, and meaningful reforms to address the underlying issues are essential.
It's about more than just apologies, right? It's about taking concrete steps to right the wrongs and build a more just and equitable society.
You're absolutely right, and it requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to listen to the voices of those who have been marginalized and silenced. It's a long and difficult road, but it's a journey worth taking.
Well said. And on that note of reflection and hope for a brighter future, we come to the end of our deep dive into Thailand's current events.
We've covered a lot of ground exploring the complexities and challenges facing this really dynamic nation. From tourist taxes and food safety to celebrity scandals and environmental concerns, we've seen how these issues are all interconnected and impact the lives of everyday people.
It's been a whirlwind of information, but we hope it's left you feeling more informed, engaged, and perhaps even inspired to learn more about Thailand and the forces shaping its future.
Remember, staying curious about the world around us is the first step towards making a positive impact. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged. And thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Back to the deep dive.